To bring in White House Director of Legislative Affairs, Marc Short. Marc, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Maria, thanks for having me on.
Where are we on this? Can you give us a status check?
On the spending bill and DACA is how they're tied together. So what we have this week is an expectation of a Thursday, Friday vote on another continuing resolution, Maria, that would get us into February to allow more time for a DACA conversation. We met at a staff level with the staffs from Leader McCarthy, Leader Hoyer, Leader Cornyn, and as well as Senator Durbin yesterday. I think there'll be a principals meeting today in which those members will be joined by General Kelly and Kirstjen Nielsen from DHS to continue conversations to move forward.
Will the Freedom Caucus go along with that, even though we just heard Mark Meadows say, look, we're not in favor of the leadership plan here?
Maria, we understand the frustration. Keep in mind that we submit a budget to Congress in February for 2018. Mick Mulvaney, OMB director, is about to submit a budget in just a couple weeks for 2019, and yet we still haven't funded 2018 to date. So we submit our budget in February. Congress should have the bill completed by September 30th at the end of the fiscal year. Here we are now in mid-January, still not having a funding bill for 2018, which is why we're continuing to force to do these continuing resolutions, because nobody wants a shutdown. That hurts federal workers and it hurts our Defense Department. It hurts our military, and we need to make sure that we're continuing to fund our troops. The Democrat position has been and continues to be, we are going to shut down the government, stop paying our troops unless there's a deal for our illegal aliens in place. We are trying to get a deal to solve the DACA problem, but we don't want to shut down the government. We think that we'll end up getting that passed this week to buy us another month, but we're all frustrated, Maria. This is not the way Congress is supposed to work. They're supposed to have a funding bill completed by September 30th. We're now in mid-January.
Right, and you're absolutely right. I mean, you're basically being held hostage and running the government every 2 weeks.
That's right. It's not the way to run the government, and the biggest concern is, frankly, on the national security level. Secretary Mattis has continued to go and talk not just to Republican leaders, but also to Democrat leaders and Schumer and Pelosi and say, what you're doing is tying my hands. We cannot make the necessary planning that I need to help make sure our country is secure and safe. And you're putting our troops funding in jeopardy, and it's a real national security risk for us.
Well, how do you get that communicated to the American people? I mean, we recognize the threats that are out there in terms of national security for this country. And we also recognize that the Democrats would like the government to shut down because they believe that Republicans will be blamed.
There is a sense that if Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, they'll get blamed. But the reality is that Democrats, we need 60 votes in the United States Senate. The Democrats are the ones that have a lot of power here, and they are, as you say, holding the American people and the government hostage in order to get the demands that they want on DACA. And when you talk about national security, Maria, something that was lost, I think, in all the conversation, all the soap opera drama over the last couple of days, a report that came out that said 3 out of 4 terrorists convicted here in the United States are foreign-born, but something else was in that report that was missing. Over 2,500 people every year on the terror watch list try to get into our country. That is 7 per day. So here we are having all this drama and discussion about what he said, she said, and we're not focused on the reality that there are terrorists trying to get into our country every day, and we're trying to fix chain migration and the lottery visa program to make sure our country is safe and secure. 7 every day are apprehended or turned away from trying to come in. 7 people are on the FBI's terror watch list.
That's a pretty incredible number, actually. But you're also facing a group where they would prefer the government to shut down because they don't want the legislative agenda to get executed. Isn't that right?
Well, I think we're going to find that out this week. There's a question as to whether or not they really want the government to shut down, or they just think that they can bluff to try to get people to cave to their demands on DACA. And so we're going to find out this week, because I think in reality Republicans will end up holding together and making sure that we're given more time to continue to negotiate and we avoid a shutdown. But again, this is no way to run a government. We continue to do this every couple weeks.
Right.
The administration submitted a budget in February of 2017, and here we are again in mid-January without funding for 2018, much less beginning in 2019.
Well, let's talk about the broader agenda, Marc. This is an anniversary week for the president, the first year in office under his belt. What are the priorities for 18?
Well, Maria, I think that we are going to take time to review 2017 because it was historic in so many ways. But 2018 also will feature an infrastructure plan that the president probably will unveil closer to State of the Union, as well as continue to move forward in areas to roll back regulatory state and look to require work requirements in some of the Medicaid payments, as you've seen that the HHS has already unveiled. So those will continue to be priorities for the administration. But we want to secure the border. We want to make sure our troops are funded, and we want to get this government funded.
All the while, the Democrats have been saying that they want infrastructure. Reports say that the president will actually present an infrastructure plan during the State of the Union. Do you have plans to tout an infrastructure plan for the State of the Union?
There are plans for that. The president has a plan in place. It's a matter of timing. We'll continue to have conversations with Congress. Our team at NEC has been doing that for the last few weeks, and they'll continue to over the next couple of weeks leading up to State of the Union to make sure they're fully briefed on what the plan will be. But you should look for the president to unveil that closer to State of the Union.
It seems like, you know, on the left, the whole point in all of the decisions is to win the 2018, win as many seats as they can in the 2018 election. I mean, that's what they're going for, and that's why the obstruction is probably only going to pick up.
Well, I think you're right that this is an election year, and so there will be a lot more obstruction, and probably the expectations for what we can do legislatively will diminish as the year goes along. We have a lot of plans at the beginning of the year, but to your point, Democrats will have to make the case as to why not one of them voted for tax relief that now 2.1 million Americans, now 2.1 million workers have either received a bonus or a pay increase since the tax release, since the tax package was passed just a couple weeks ago. There will continue to be more, and they'll have to explain why unemployment in America is its lowest point ever for African Americans, lowest point ever for Hispanic Americans, a 17-year low, and yet they're stopping the economic plans of this administration. So we look forward to that debate coming forward throughout the rest of this year.
So what's the biggest pushback from the left? Is it funding the border wall, giving the president the money that he is asking for, or is it funding the military?
It's a great question, Maria. I think the reality is that on the border security, keep in mind, in 2006, most Democrats voted for the Secure Fence Act that would have funded the wall, including Chuck Schumer. In 2013, over $40 billion was in the Democrat plan on part of their DREAM Act to provide border security. So they have been willing to vote for it before. The only difference now is that Donald Trump is president. So in my mind, it's less of a policy issue and purely a political issue where there's a recognition of the security needs, but for political reasons looking to hold back support.
How much of the conversation around the president's personality and his remarks is that getting in the way in terms of doing a deal, or is that just noise coming from the left?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of noise, frankly, Maria. I think that the conversations yesterday were cordial. I think that we'll have hopefully continued progress. But keep in mind, the administration put forward our principles, what we want on this plan back in October. Again, we're in mid-January. We refined that plan a couple weeks ago and took some things off the table to try to get closer to a negotiation. So we've been leaning forward into this. We're anxious for Congress to come back and say, okay, these are reasonable things you're asking for. End of the Visa lottery program, which, as you know, was a program in which the pipe bomber came in. End to chain migration, which, as you know, is the program through which the terrorists who ran over people in New York came through. And begin to secure the border. Those are practical requests for the American people.
I mean, are you getting at least an acknowledgement that the visa program is ridiculous?
I think that I think there's a growing consensus that the visa program is ridiculous, as you say. I think the question is, the Democrat position has been, let's take those visas and reallocate them to other programs like the temporary protective status programs, whereas I think the administration just believes that program should be terminated.
Marc, thanks so much for walking us through it all. Great insights from you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria.
We'll be watching the developments.